Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Joellen Tharp and I'm currently a graduate student at the University of South Florida. I graduated from the University of Tennessee with a degree in psychology and chemistry and am now pursuing my master's in college student affairs. At USF, I work in the Freshman Summer Institute, also known as FSI. FSI is a program that is designed to help first-generation, low-income college students. My responsibilities as an advisor in this office are to ensure that these freshmen understand the issues of financial aid. I'm there to help them find organizations to get involved in. I'm there to help them pick classes, discover their majors, and basically be their support system away from home. We spend a significant amount of time with these students throughout their first year, meeting with them in a one-on-one setting to make sure that they are adjusting. It's a very hands-on approach and has shown to be very successful. My work in FSI has shown me that I enjoy working with a unique population. It's also shown me that all students have unique needs. Freshmen are not the only students who struggle adjusting to a university. My experience with former FSI students, particularly the sophomores, has shown me that these students tend to struggle just as much as the freshmen. However, universities aren't taking much action to help these students and their persistence. So today, I would like to talk to you about why the sophomore slump exists and how universities can implement new best practices to ensure that sophomores are receiving the appropriate attention so that they can continue to be successful while in higher education. How to help students successfully navigate during transitional time periods has been a focus of educational research for many years. The majority of this research is focused on the first-year student and wants to show universities how they can make sure those freshman students are able to make the transition from a high school environment to the world of higher education. However, recent studies have shown that there is a significant relationship between the sophomores' experience and their rates of persistence at a university. However, only a small number of schools have implemented practices and programs that are designed to meet the unique needs of the sophomore population. Today, I would like to explain to you what these unique needs are, why sophomores may struggle, and what universities can do to ensure that the sophomore slump does not affect their persistence rates. I believe the sophomore year is challenging for several reasons. First, it is a pivotal moment for academic, social, and individual development. From an academic standpoint, many sophomore students are required to declare a major by the end of their fourth semester. This implies that a student must be committed to a specific career path. However, many 19 and 20-year-olds are still in the process of discovering and establishing their personal values and goals, and they are not prepared to make such a monumental decision. Schools are expecting these students to make a decision that ultimately will impact the rest of their life, and many students simply aren't ready and aren't prepared to make such an important decision. I also believe that sophomores tend to struggle because there is such a small amount of attention paid to the second-year student. Many freshmen have a very hands-on approach. There are programs that are specifically designed to ensure that freshmen are successfully integrated into the collegiate world. Faculty and student affairs professionals are educated on how they can help freshmen adjust. After the freshman year, students go into their sophomore year where they receive little to no hands-on attention. So their first year is spent being coddled and guided. And then all of a sudden they're thrown into this world with no one there to help them. They go from receiving support in multiple areas to receiving little to no support from the university. And not all students are developmentally ready to handle this sudden autonomy. Universities need to realize that by being so hands-on with the freshmen, we must continue to be hands-on with the sophomores. Now, it shouldn't be so involved. It should be a challenging and supportive year. We need to challenge the students to become independent, to take responsibility for their actions, and to explore their options. However, we also need to be supportive and realize that these students aren't always at a maturity level where they are able to do this competently, which is where faculty and student affairs professionals must be trained on how to meet the unique needs of this student population. Now, I would like to offer several suggestions on how universities can implement best practices that will help avoid the sophomore slump. From an advising perspective, I think it's crucial to realize that academic advising plays a large role in the sophomore year. Academic advisors must help students connect their current interests and values with their future self. Encouraging a student to reflect on where he or she would like to be 5 years down the road can help a student determine what his or her current path should be. So if universities would still like to require sophomores to pick a major, they need to make sure their advisors are well trained on how to help those students find the major that works best for them. In addition to this, the relationship between the sophomore student and his or her academic advisor still must be focused on the student's development as a whole. Juniors and seniors typically need academic advising in terms of what classes do I need, how do I go about getting a job, how do I enter the workforce, where can I get internships. However, the sophomore advising still needs to be more focused on the individual and ensuring that they are adjusting to the university setting. Advisors need to be aware that not all sophomores may be fully acclimated to life at a university, and so the advising approach must be handled accordingly. In order to increase sophomore persistence and satisfaction, advisors must be aware of the needs that fall outside of the world of academia and that are unique to the second-year population. Many sophomores are still trying to find that balance between being a young adult and an adult. They may struggle with, I would like support from my parents, but at the same time, I want to assert my independence. I would like to make my own decisions, but I'm still financially dependent on my parents, so their opinion plays a role in what I do. Advisors need to be aware of this difficult balance that many sophomores may face, and remember that when advising, and not be so focused on simply the student's academic development. From a student affairs perspective, I think it's crucial that universities create programming and initiatives for second years that can reduce feelings of discontent and frustration. Research has shown that peer influence has a large impact on a student's persistence. Therefore, creating opportunities for peer interaction, whether it's through living learning programs or social events, helps to build a student's sense of purpose and inclusion. Encouraging faculty to interact with students in and out of the classroom can also help sophomores establish a connection with the university. Providing multiple pathways that allow students to strengthen their ties to an institution is necessary when trying to decrease attrition during and after the sophomore year. For example, in FSI, as I previously mentioned, we have a very hands-on approach with our freshmen. However, after they've completed their freshman year, they're no longer required to meet with us and they are reintroduced into the general student population. However, many of them struggle with this sudden independence. My suggestion is to create a peer mentoring program. This way, former FSI students who are seniors who have indicated that they have successfully completed their 3 years of higher education and are well on their way to becoming successful individuals as adults will be able to act as a mentor towards these sophomores. The sophomores will no longer meet with a professional staff, but will still have an individual who can help guide them and help them navigate the issues that many sophomores face. Now, this program ideally will sustain itself, because the goal would be that the sophomores, after receiving this guidance from seniors, would want to give back to future sophomores. Now, this type of program can be implemented in other areas besides programs like the Freshman Summer Institute. It can be implemented in residence halls. It can also be implemented in majors, where you have the senior students majoring in geography or architecture who mentor the sophomore students, helping them with classes, helping them figure out, what do I need to be doing to get an internship? How can I build my resume? Providing a peer mentoring program helps a student expand their network at a university, which ultimately increases their satisfaction and their persistence. So, as we know, the second year of college is a critical transition period that unfortunately is often overlooked. Universities must acknowledge the issues that many second-year students are facing, and they must implement new programs and practices to ensure student satisfaction. The sophomore population is a unique population. They have unique needs that universities must acknowledge and must attempt to meet. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them, and the floor is open for any of those now. Thank you so much for your time.